loading snacks.
What's going on, everybody? Your Loading Snacks anime admins are here once again for Thriller Park. You know what I'm saying, the Spoiler Boys edition. We're discussing ReZero still. This week we have episodes 7 through 9 to talk about. And a lot happened in these 3 episodes. But
So much happened.
Yeah, before we dive in.
People on my timeline now that I think about it.
Yeah. Just so y'all know, this week we have the Plushie Queen back with us. Say what's up to the people, Gabby.
Woo! Welcome back, Plushie Queen.
Yay!
We now have Echidna's son, Noah's here with us. What's up, Noah? And y'all know who I am. I'm saying your favorite waifu senpai. So, Gabby, since you were here last, I know we don't have a name now. Since you were here last week to talk about your thoughts on episodes 4 through 6, I just want to get how are you feeling after those episodes? What stuck out to you? And how did you feel about Subaru's trial when he had to confront his parents?
I liked the trial a lot. I know initially when we saw that little clip at the end before the 3 to 4 that I wasn't here with you guys for, I was excited to see just Subaru's past because he was the only one that really didn't have like a backstory on. We didn't have a backstory on like some others, but like he's the main one we didn't have a backstory on. So I wanted to know. So I like that we really got to see where he lived, kind of what he was experiencing, and his mom and his dad as characters. I absolutely love the backstory. The relationship between those 3 was hilarious. Dad is funny. The pea scene with them passing the bowl of peas, hilarious. I think I was dying during that. But his trial, it really fit him. It was really good, and I thought that was really well written.
Okay. And what did you think about just how we got to this point where we're at this week? With Elsa showing back up and what's going on with Roswell and all that stuff.
When I heard her voice when he was like dying and turning around, and my heart stopped. I'm like, not her again. I'm like, oh no, not her again. Come on.
So when she shows up, somebody's gonna die.
Yeah.
Like no matter how strong
dying.
Somebody's there, but it's like unless you got someone at least a little bit less strong than Reinhardt. Like now we done seen Garfield strong, right? So maybe if Garfield was there, like, but somebody's still gonna die. Somebody always dies.
Because she's very good at her job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Roswell's always given me there's something going on behind the scenes with him. So it's kind of, those episodes were like, okay, we're starting to see some little tidbits of what he's throwing out, and then these past 3 episodes that we just watched together, we see a lot more now.
Yeah.
But overall, enjoyed those previous 3.
Okay.
For me, for a freaking loop.
Remember when Roswell saw them talking about Echidna, and they were like the witch, and Roswell was like, her name's Echidna. You know what I'm saying?
You will respect.
That's questionable. And then at the end of this 3rd episode, Roswell was holding the gospel, but we know it wasn't a gospel because
because they don't have a name for it.
We actually learned about that the way this episode starts off when we start, because we end up with where we ended last week with Beatrice saving Subaru, and he's absolutely livid at her because she possibly just screwed up the timeline, and he may have a new reset point. He can't technically say that to her, but that's why he's so pissed off. And she's playing it off kind of like normal Subaru, be quiet, you stupid boy, yada yada. She's kind of playing with it, but he's really, really like upset, which starts to get her in the feelings, and she starts saying stuff that will put a buzz in like our ear and maybe even Subaru's, like that.
Yeah.
She's not obligated, like she's not under contract to say something to him when he's asking these specific questions to her. And he notices she has her own gospel.
Right.
And he starts to question her about that. Like, why do you have that? That's a witch's thing. Like, why do you have one? And she gets upset and says, this is all, I'm doing everything for mother. We don't know what that means, but that's another tidbit of information she dropped us. What did y'all think about how we just start this week's opening with episode 7? Go ahead, Noah.
So that's interesting the way she said that. And I told y'all something that was interesting too is to pay attention to everything in this series matters, and even some stuff they put in that's from the light novel that you don't even know is there, but it's just like the producers who enjoyed the light novel that they're like, I'm gonna pay attention to this, or the animator. But something was like Beatrice's dialogue. She was saying, I suppose, after everything for the entire series. And now Subaru comes in and things get real tense to where Beatrice can't even figure it out at the moment. But she says that the next few things that Subaru says aren't written. And when she says they aren't written, she doesn't say, I suppose. Right. So then we find out later when they talk to Roswell that her book isn't a gospel, even though it resembles it. It's the true future.
Yes.
Right.
And there's only 2 of these.
Right.
Yeah.
So
he doesn't have a name. Really.
Yeah.
And that the ones that the witches using are tarnished or some word that he used, like that, like something's wrong with them, something like that.
Not tainted, but tarnished is closer to it.
Yeah.
And those books aren't gospels, so we can confirm that they're not witch cultists or archbishops. We know that Beatrice is a spirit.
Right.
So a spirit is like Puck, like they're not fully there. So that being the case, she's not an archbishop either, because I don't think they can do that. So now it just raised the question is, what are spirits? What's their connection to the world? Are they connected to the witch or one of the witches? We got introduced to a bunch of new witches. We don't know the extent of their powers. They can create mobbies. The Witch of Envy is the strongest one, clearly, but they all have different powers.
Right.
So Beatrice could be an incarnate from one of the witches. She could be whatever, but it just raised a lot of questions about spirits, I feel like.
I completely agree. What do you think, Gabby?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a interesting opening. A lot of information dropped just off the opening, only to then for Elsa to come in, kill him. He resets. Okay, back to business as usual. Now we have something that we need to go talk with Roswell about Beatrice and get some questions answered. But also, we're stuck in this very interesting pattern during this time loop where he's pressed for time and he has 2 major things to accomplish. So watching him go through this is interesting. You have what's happening in Sanctuary, where he has to get these trials fulfilled to get everybody to be able to leave Sanctuary. And he has what's happening in the mansion, where in a few days, everybody's going to be killed by Elsa. So he has to get these conversations and people's thought of where, because he's trying to run the trial for himself, so she doesn't have to go through it and be all, messed up about it. And he can deal with that stuff later, but he's trying to hurry to get them through the trials, because he figures, if I can get them through this and we can get out of this, the sooner I get all of us back to the mansion to go handle what business is going on there, because then you'll have Ram, you'll have Garfield, you'll have Roswell, like Amelia, they'll all be able there to help stop it. The problem is trying to get back to the point in that very first reset, we're at this point where they were down with trying to get him to run the trials himself and not have Amelia do it. They were kind of on point before he went back and got killed. So as trying to get back,
he brought that up to Garf again, and then he was against it, which is obviously what he was at before.
And the same thing happens now, where he leaves, he goes to speak to Ryuzu and Garfield, trying to word it in different ways to try to get the outcome that he's looking for. And they kind of playing into it at first, like, okay, let's do that. Hey, let me holler at you for a second. As Garfield begins to choke him out, and no, we can't let that happen. They're still working under the way that Roswell.
And for the second time, someone who Subaru considered his friend betrayed him. Hardcore. First time he was whipped like a Hebrew slave. Second time he gets locked up like, I don't know, one of Hannibal Lecter's victims, and left in a basement. I don't know how he used the bathroom. I was wondering that while we were watching, but he was down there for 3 days.
Which we have a great moment happen where Otto comes in to save him.
Otto's the best.
Yeah, Otto shows up. And the reason why I took him so long is he was trying to ditch Garfield the whole time, because Garfield was keeping an eye on him, thinking, nah, you're gonna let this little dude go. And also, Garfield admitted to him, I guess, why he doesn't like him at this point, because I can smell that witch on you. And I don't like that. And I don't like you. I don't trust you because I can smell the witch on you.
And that's the original problem from the start.
Yes.
From the very start, people have been saying you smell like the witch so much. And it's because whatever power she has given him is radiating her mana or masma or whatever has he. And everyone who can sense that stuff can smell it. especially the beast people. I'm assuming because they got the
scent, the nose, all that kind of stuff, right? But it was a great moment with Otto saving Subaru and them kind of having that friendship moment. Like, we're friends, and Subaru laughing them out. Like, I'm just, I got to get myself together. But yeah, you're my friend. They leave. They meet up with Ram. Subaru heads off to go talk to Roswaal to get some questions on Beatrice. Gabby, what did you think about the conversation with him and Roswaal about Beatrice?
I thought it was really good. It gave us more of an insight into Roswaal's character as well as Beatrice. Those phrases that, Roswaal was actually letting Subaru, I think, in this moment, into what his true thoughts were about everything, and about the mystery behind what Beatrice is. Because that's when he asked again, is she part of the witches cult? And then we learn about the fake gospels and like this unnamed gospel per se. And I can't remember the first phrase that he said, but I believe the second one that he told her to say was like, I am that person. Yeah, or I am that answer.
2 phrases to say to her when she gets back that will like apparently help him with trying to, complete everything. Yeah. So.
And one thing that struck me at the end of that conversation was Roswaal was mentioning something like, these phrases will get Beatrice to, help you to form that contract with you. And I'm like, does that mean that she is going to now have a contract where Subaru shows she will be leaving the mansion, which I assume will happen because I saw the trailer for season 3, watched it, and she is out with Subaru. So I assume this is probably the start, especially because he mentioned the contract.
Maybe
something happening between. Possibly something's going to change between Subaru's and Beatrice's relationship here in these next 2 episodes, and I'm really excited to see how it's going to happen, especially with Elsa in this whole freaking mix, because she is right there, and they have very limited time to do whatever this contract thing is that's going to happen.
I thought it was interesting that Elsa kind of walked in her library and just killed Subaru. I thought that was kind of interesting.
Is Elsa mother?
I don't know, but she just walks in, and I'm sitting there like, why did you let her in? You know what I mean? Like, but
it could have been.
Is Elsa mother?
I don't think so. I don't think.
I was thinking about what I said yesterday, and I was thinking the door also could have just been cracked, because all you hear is the door go. You don't hear the little click.
Yeah, like an unlock or something.
So the door could have been cracked because Subaru left it open. But
did he?
I think that I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I don't know. I don't think I had a good angle on being able to see. But I think that the fact that Beatrice saved, going back to that part where she saved him, I think it actually shows that. And the one shot we watched of them, of the date, and all the relationships they've built, and all the different stuff that Subaru's gone through with Beatrice, even though in her mind it's one loop, I feel like she might actually care for Subaru. You know what I mean? Yeah. I feel like she might actually, be like super tsundere and just really does care for Subaru.
The number of tsundere characters in this show keeps going up.
The number of tsunderes and lollies, it's insane.
The lollies are deep.
And she's a combo of the 2.
She is actually
powerful.
But when he leaves this conversation with Roswaal, they make a plan to let's get out of here, so we got to get back and take care of things. So him, Otto, and Ram are trying to get out of there, but Garfield shows up, and he's extremely pissed that Otto saved him and got him out the cellar. And so Ram decides to hold him off. We're going to get out of here, go back to the mansion, help everybody out. The villagers show up. They light a path with the torches to show them how to get out there. Cool moment. Hurrah. Until
Buff's old kitty comes back.
We see a very mad, super buff were-kitty, apparently. Big were-tiger tearing through the forest. And when I mean tearing through the... When I say tearing through the forest, like, he was leveling, like, massive spaces of land. Only for
he's on some damn near Dragon Ball Z shit. Yeah, with the way he was hit.
Tearing through people.
He tears right through Otto, right in front of Subaru.
I
like
cried.
In half. Bodies flying. The people are trying to help Subaru get out of the barrier. They're getting slapped and cut and thrashed all over the place. Then his dragon grabs him and throws him out of the way for the little dragon to get demolished by Garfield. Garfield was on a tear at this moment.
And then the rest of the village jumps in.
Yeah. Garfield was on a clear rampage, just irate. Only for his necklace to go off. And he wakes up, looks like back in the cellar. But it's not like a time jump thing because he's still dirty. It's kind of
He's
weird.
still got the blood on his hand.
Yeah, we're trying to figure out what's going on. He goes outside, and there's snow everywhere, which can mean only one of two things. Either Subaru was knocked out for a long enough time for it now to be winter, which would be bad as far as a reset goes, or something has gone remotely bad with Amelia. And I'm pretty sure it was probably the latter of the two. But as he starts to venture out and get back to everybody, he runs into a cute little bunny.
I thought it was cute at first.
It could be a third option. It could be a third option. Third option is that which I actually don't know this, but the bunnies could have like a aura that brings winter to wherever they are.
That's
Like,
true.
you got a point. Just like the whale
But that-
had
that
the
could be.
fog.
Yeah.
So
The bunnies are one of these, what, 3 creatures?
Mobbies.
one of the three
The great
great
mobbies.
Yes.
Three
M-A-H
mobbies.
beast. Yeah.
Yes. But
I don't like them.
No,
No.
as he reaches to pet the bunny,
they're not as cute as real
The-
bunnies.
the bunny chops his hand off, pretty much bites his hand off, and Subaru looks around.
Nipping on his finger.
There are thousands of bunnies everywhere as they proceed to devour him. Very
I think this was the worst death ever. I didn't like watching this one.
No, this
I don't
is-
know. I'd rather this than getting chain whipped by the girl I semi love. That scene in the woods was
Hold up.
so awful, bro.
Hold up, you think that this one was
This one
the
is
worst
just
death?
grotesque.
This was the worst death or the worst Subaru death so far, Gabby? Which one?
Definitely the worst death, I think.
'Cause
Just because I didn't like the noises. I didn't like how extended it was. I didn't like we spent time in it. I'm just like,
Gotcha.
Come on.
Voice actors
Gotcha.
just be getting them screams.
'Cause I
oh,
think
they're so good at it. That's why I was so uncomfortable.
it was.
Voice actor.
It was definitely one of his worst deaths that he had. And one thing amazing is just speaking to the production value of the show. How many times we can see this happen over and over again with him, and it still hurts every single time because of the voice acting. Like they are.
The production
This
when they
man has
killed him.
died like
Remember
20
the
times.
ominous face of the bunny as he's screaming and it pans out and it's just
Yep.
chewing on one of his fingers?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
it's
That
like,
shit was
oh,
crazy.
we're fucked.
I was
Literally,
also
yes, it was
thinking,
bad.
like, remember Subaru kind of had like a really good mentality before going into that, and so I
Yeah.
was thinking for a second, is he returning to season 1? Because he was a little too okay with the fact that everyone just got killed at the mansion, and then he died, and possibly Beatrice died, and everything else.
Well,
Yeah.
I think he was on his way back to that because we see right when he comes back, he starts screaming and hitting
Mhm.
his head against the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he
was-
But then when he
does
comes out to talk to
get
Otto,
back.
he's like,
Yeah.
okay. You know what I mean? He's like
Yeah.
he's almost too okay.
yeah. But
I think he like walks the line of I'm gonna go backwards, but I'm chill, and you're like you can't be both. You also just be somewhere, but you gotta
He's
be
holding on.
something.
I think he was walking the line until the bunny thing happened. Because
Yes.
after that, he, like you said, Gabby, he just loosed it, banging his head on the ground, lashing out, and almost instantly, Echidna calls him back to the tea party. Like, no, come back, we're gonna have a conversation. And
I love her.
so much happens during the tea party, and since we have Echidna's son here, Noah, talk to us about what happens at this tea party. Because a lot of information is dropped on us.
So Subaru dies. He gets chewed up like a bag of chopped carrots, and then the Echidna calls him back, and then she goes to talk. Well, he meets the criteria, which we still don't know what that is, to go and meet Echidna. So that happens, and then basically she starts talking to him about I can't remember, what did they talk about? that point.
One thing he brings up is that he wants to. They talk about his
Oh
mental
yeah.
kind of walking the line and everything, and how he's like, well, if you send me back, I'm just gonna go crazy again. Here, I'm calm.
Yeah.
So I want to remember this and us talking because that'll help me back there.
That's one of the first big things. Right, he talks about Gabby when he asks, tells her he wants to remember these conversations when he leaves.
Yep.
And she agreed to it. And she takes his handkerchief that Petra, that's her name, I can't remember, Health or whatever. He takes the handkerchief she put around his wrist. She takes that as compensation, but not really, because it's just like in that space of a world. So like she just copy like a virtual one or whatever. But that was the payment. And another big thing that happened was, for the first time, he was able to say what his curse was out loud. And nothing happened. He didn't start having a heart attack or nothing. And he loses it, but I get it. Like, he's finally able to say what's been going on with him to somebody. And Echidna comforts him. Now here's a question I have about this. When she comforts him and tells him it's going to be all right, tell me everything that's been going on, I'm with your greed. Is she falling for him, not in a romantic way, but like starting to befriend him a little bit more, and she was genuine and just wanting to let him get all that out? Or was she being the witch of greed and just wanting to know knowledge and all that kind of stuff, wanting to know more things? Was that what she was fishing after at that point? Was she genuinely...
I think both.
Okay.
I think it's both.
Because they've shown in all aspects of the witches' personalities, like they're like ethereal beings, and like omnipotent beings, but at the end of the day, they still have personalities of like a 20-year-old girl. You know what I mean? So that's why, like, for instance, the Witch of Envy is supposedly in love with Subaru, from what it seems like. You know what I mean? So it seems they showed Echidna blushing lots of times and stuff like that. She might be attracted to Subaru as well. And maybe it's just something about him that we don't know.
It's the
that. Yeah. And the witches' designs, like when they showed the different witches' designs, like Teppei does a great job.
They're so interesting. His designs, they're so good.
They're all very interesting.
Unique. And they're colorful, you know what I'm saying?
And they match each other. Like, they're super different, but they match like the universe very well.
Yeah.
Because we met two in this moment, because Subaru asked her if he can talk to Gluttony, which we learned her name was Daphne. So the witch is Gluttony.
Yeah, because she's the one who stole Rim's name and stuff.
Yes.
Right.
Or her powers did. Her archbishops did. Yeah.
And she's the one that created the three Red Mobbies. So he wants to have a conversation with her about that. And so he kind of gives up her space of like being there to let somebody else sit in and take over. But before Daphne can get there, I have her name right here. I don't remember, Typhon or whatever, the Witch of Pride.
Yeah.
Decides to come in and just wants to get to know Subaru, while in the process, damn near killing him in a very interesting, creative way by making him.
Well, can we talk about how Echidna literally told him not to touch her or look her in the eyes, and he did none of those things?
That was for Daphne.
Regretted it.
That was for Daphne.
Oh yeah. Wait, was it?
Yeah.
Oh
yeah, it was for Daphne. She didn't know that Pride would hop in there.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
you're right.
Like I said, Pride jumps in, decides that she just wants to meet him and pretty much kills him in the process, only for her to leave, and instantly Wrath shows up, the Witch of Wrath, which is Minerva. She shows up. She's interesting as Wrath. Like, she's very like upbeat, heart-shaped designs on her and stuff, and heart-shaped powers. Like, for Wrath, it's kind of interesting. I want to see.
In that pick was hilarious.
Yeah, just came and did her thing, picked him back up, and then left. And then finally, Daphne shows up, which is a very interesting character. Gabby, your thoughts on the conversation with Daphne and Subaru?
I thought she fit Gladly very well. Okay. But it's weird because it didn't. It kind of didn't fit her design at first when I saw her. I was like, how is she Gluttony? Because it looks like she's like restrained. And I'm like, well, I don't know.
When she starts talking.
Yeah, she's like chained up in a coffin.
Yeah, once she starts talking, she's like, oh yeah, she's Gluttony.
It seems
She's
like she can
talking about all
control
these
that.
things.
Yeah, like it has
She's
automatic
like-
robotic legs and can move around. Yeah, but she's completely strapped.
Yeah.
in, eyes closed.
Yeah.
She was a pretty interesting character for the Sin, I thought.
Mhm.
But their conversation, trying to remember a lot of the details. The only big thing that really stuck out to me was their weird back and forth, because I expected him to ask about Rem and the memories and the archbishops, but he really didn't do any of that. So honestly, their conversation didn't go how I thought it would, and I think that's why I'm having a hard time trying to remember it.
It's because he was specifically asking her about the Mobbies, the Great Mobbies. He was.
That's
You saw
right,
her-
Mobbies.
And he said, "Why the hell did you make them crazy ass bunnies?"
Well, you
said,
make
"What's
the
wrong
bunnies.
with
I don't like those.
He said whales killing people, and she's like, "Well, if you want to kill something, it should be able to kill you too." And he's like, "I mean, nah. I mean,
Yeah, it's
maybe,
like that,
but
it's
nah."
like the whale, as big as the whale is, that can feed plenty of people. And the rabbits, they just trying to eat. Like
And you
And
have
I
to
would've
kill
been
all
like-
the
Everybody
bunnies
has-
at once
everybody has
Yeah.
to eat.
to kill
Yes,
them,
yes.
which
There's
is
particular ways to
terrible
kill
because
all
they
three.
multiply so fast. That's what she said. Okay.
And you have to, in order to draw them out and lure them to you, you have to have somebody with a lot of like mana to lure them out. And then once you get them there, you have to kill them all at the same time. And these bunnies can copy themselves, so they are everywhere. Yeah, so not the easiest of tasks to try to complete. But he pretty much tells her straight up, like, "Well, look, I already killed the whale. I'm gonna kill them too." And she laughs him off, like, "I dare you to try it, human," which is very ominous. So I think if he knocks out one more when there's one left, because we know it's the
Serpent.
black serpent, right?
Yeah.
Is the one we haven't seen yet. So I got a feeling if he knocks off the bunny somehow, it might piss off Gluttony enough to maybe somehow try. Because it looked like she wanted to flex and break out of that thing when he said he killed the whale and he was going to kill the other one. She got kind of pissed and was shaking.
You gotta remember, the other witches don't have power in the world. They're all dead. They only have power in that plane.
You're right. They are dead for now.
That's why.
I'm
But that's
waiting.
why the beast's been around for 400 years. But when she said that, I would have been like, counter. Things gotta kill. Other things gotta kill. But your thing's been killing for 400 years. So what's going on with that ratio?
You got a point. You got a point.
You sound a little bit selfish, Miss
Right.
Gluttony.
But I'm glad we got to meet some more of the witches. All interesting. I'm definitely looking forward to more interactions with them because they all have very interesting personalities to be representing like the Seven Deadly Sins type of thing. So I'm looking forward to seeing just where it develops, where it goes from there. But she does end up sending Subaru back, letting him keep all his memories. And as he leaves the temple, when he wakes up, matter of fact, he doesn't see Amelia there. So that kind of throws him off, like, okay, maybe she left. Something was like kind of like knocking at the door, if I can't think of another way to put it, to wake him up before he got sent back. And he heads outside, and there is this black mist, fog, shadow type of thing kind of everywhere on the ground, and it's steadily rising. And a figure rises from this shadow. And instantly, soon as you see the reaction on his face, I'm pretty sure we all know who it was. And it turns out, somehow, it is Satella. As she walks over to him, constantly saying, "I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you." He is freaking out. And they do this listen, the production value. They do this amazing thing where as soon as she gets up on the hose and she gets in his ear, they drop everything out, like the sound and everything, and she does this "I love you" in his ear. And if you have your headphones
Oh, the
on,
ASMR.
oh my gosh, if you have your headphones on, it is one of the most amazing things as far as audio is concerned.
Love you. I 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 love you.
She hits that one "I love you." It was fire. But Garfield shows up to save him, which throws him off for a second because Garfield was just trying to kill him before all this happened. And they're discussing, trying to figure out what's going on. We got to take this thing down. And it starts walking, the shadow starts walking in another direction, kind of leaving them alone. And he's like, "What's going on?" And Subaru kind of puts two and two together. Oh my gosh, she's going to the mansion. I need to stop this right now. And the episode ends right there. So we end these episodes with Satella being back in some type of
No,
form?
it didn't end. It didn't end right there. Yeah, after that, Satella. Well, first of all, Satella looked a lot like Amelia, so you can see where the prejudice for Amelia comes.
Yeah.
Where are we at? Do we think Amelia is actually the witch, or what?
Probably a descendant. I think probably a descendant.
You think she's a descendant of the witch?
I'm trying to figure a way that, for a reason why they look alike. Even though we really couldn't see like her whole face because she had the hood and the coat and chain, but you could tell we knew who it was the second we saw her because they look alike. Maybe she's a descendant.
I think maybe she took over her body and her form changed.
I still don't know the answer, but I don't think
life.
Amelia is the witch. I just think it's too easy.
Maybe it could have been her in another life, and now like this vessel's been reincarnated, and the essence of the witch isn't in the body anymore. I don't know. I'm guessing here, trying to figure out why they look alike.
And I'm pretty sure it was the same voice actor too.
That's super
I'm pretty sure it was the same voice actor.
I like that.
I don't know for sure, but it sounded like it. And that means that like if they did that and it's, you know what I'm saying, that they're doing that on purpose, that makes me that makes me think it's not her, because it could be like her sister or something. I don't know, but I don't even know if witches can have kids. Yeah, I don't even know if they can have kids or sisters. I don't even know. I'm assuming they can because they were real, but like, I don't know.
I don't see why they wouldn't be able to.
And then after it ends, it shows Roswell hold another version of that book he talked about. And then it says, I'm trusting in you. He says, I'm trusting in you, Subaru. Next time, don't make any mistakes. And he says, next time. And that's like, hold on. What does next time mean? Does next time mean next time you attempt this?
Yeah, Roswell definitely knows more than he's leading on. He knows way more.
Does it mean that this or that? Like I said, I personally don't think that anyone but Subaru knows about the loop, because first of all, he can't say it around them.
Except for technically, Echidna knows now. So
yeah, but she's a witch.
She's on the ethereal plane.
And I think that's why he was able to say it to her, and nothing happened.
I mean, that makes perfect sense.
That's why.
That makes perfect sense. But Roswell also
reset. Does the Book of Truth, the Book of the Future, have that?
Right. It would be perfect if Roswell was going through and each time he knew, but he was playing along with it for Subaru's sake or something. That would be God's here. But the reason I don't think it's happened is because Roswell's gone from loving Subaru to trying to kill Subaru to loving him again to now using him for his own goals. And the fact that he changes what it seems like he's trying to do so many times makes me think that he's resetting with everything else, so he can't possibly know. Unless the other option being that he's playing along each time so that no one else knows that he knows. But I don't think it's that. I don't think it's that.
I'm on the fence.
I could see it either way. I kind of want someone to know, but I understand why we would have someone know. Like someone in the real plane, not in the ethereal plane with the witches.
So, Gabby, what did you think about, I guess, Satella's entrance or reveal or whatever, like at the end going into the next episode? Like, what are your thoughts at going forward?
I'm interested if it's going to change anything, because we never saw anything about her in these past 2 times that we were back there. It was all about Elsa, something happened in the mansion with Elsa. So what is Satella going to change at the mansion?
True. What about you?
Will Elsa still show up?
I mean, I don't even know if she's really going to the mansion. Like Subaru said, she was heading that way, but like the mansion's far away, so she's heading north. It's a lot of stuff north. You know,
there's a lot of stuff north.
So I truthfully and honestly don't know, but I'm thinking about it. And when he said she's heading to the mansion, I'm like, why would she head to the mansion? That doesn't make sense. Roswell's here, he's here. It doesn't make sense for her to head to the mansion. Amelia's here. I'm like, I can't understand why she would head to the mansion. So maybe that's what's happening, but I don't know.
I agree. I am completely lost at the end of this episode. I'm excited to see where it's going, but her showing up and, like you said, we don't know, but supposedly heading towards the mansion throws me for a complete loop right now, because none of this has happened during any of the other loops. This hasn't even been a thought or a factor. So whatever happened in that time, he was gone to waking up, something with So left to where I don't know if it was his interaction with all the witches that made her decide to get active or something, but I'm just hoping that next week we get some answers. But knowing this show, we most likely will not get any answers.
We'll get one answer and then 5 more questions.
1,000%. But either way, myself, just like you guys, I know are excited for what's happening next. It's like every week, the cliffhangers we leave off for just make this week go by so much slower, looking forward to see what in the world happens next with this show. And so far, they don't miss constantly. The show's constantly on an uptake with each episode. Constantly. And this one is no different from the rest of the ones we've been watching. So, with that said, I think we can get out of here. Go relax, go watch some anime, wind down from this, get our minds together, get ready for next week. Y'all know where to find us, 9:30 in the Discord on Thursdays, PM, to join us for more of ReZero as we continue this journey through it. Next week, episodes 10 through 12. Sounds about right. Yeah, and, tell us your thoughts. What are your thoughts on Satella being back and so forth, all the mess that we are in right now with this show. So until then, we will catch you guys later. We're out. Deuces.
Bye.